I'm Cynthia Mallard.
I'm Marq.
Hey, and this is Studiosetstage. Welcome for another exciting episode where we bring you from the studio to the set until the stage. How are you doing, Marq?
I'm doing well, Cynthia. How are you doing today?
Very good, very good. I'm so excited about today's show. This topic, you all know that, every week we come to you with just a different topic, something just to engage everybody, right? So we normally talk again, Studiosetstage, but as Studiosetstage, you guys out there, as well as myself and Marq, we are parents, and we are parents educating our kids in this pandemic of isolation. So I felt it appropriate as a parent, we felt it appropriate as parents, we need to get somebody on here to talk about what's happening with parents, what's happening with kids, with the school system, to just kind of just like put some ease to my mind, put some ease to your mind. I'm stressing everybody else out.
Put ease to everybody's mind right now.
Exactly. So if you're watching, we have with us, I'm so honored to have her, Cobb County school counselor, Myesha Davis, who is joining Studiosetstage today. Hello there and welcome.
Hello, welcome, and thank you for inviting me to be on your show today. Thanks.
Very cool. And then we also have Miss Gaylen Ferguson, who is a parent of a student here has a child in Cobb County schools also. So just want to say welcome to you to Studiosetstage.
Thank you. Thank you. It's great to be here. Thanks for having me.
Very cool. So listen, let's just go ahead and jump right into it. I just want to say, Miss Davis, what has it been like? Obviously, you're on the front lines. You're school counselor. So give me some of the initial things that you are having to deal with. I can imagine every single day.
Well, it's schedules, especially for high school. It's, making sure that they're in the right classes, and once they get into the platform, because Cobb County is using the CTLS, that's the learning system that, all of our instruction is going through. So, students just, I'm not feeling this class, and, I don't think this is gonna work, I don't think I can learn online, and is there another way I can do this? So just trying to come up with the ways that will help our students best engage, virtually. So it definitely has been a challenge for our students and for we counselors as well.
I can imagine. So let me ask you, and like I said, I am a parent too, and parents talk. We talk amongst ourselves or whatever. This is not just a small problem. This is a pretty big problem, right?
Absolutely. I think one of the biggest things that I think we thought about it, but we really didn't think about it, was the disparities between the haves and the have-nots when it comes to access to technology.
Wow.
So even if you have a device, do you have someone in the home who can help you navigate that device? Do you have someone in the home who can help you navigate CTLS, our learning system? And, we did produce videos to show parents how to use it. But, for me, it's kind of like driving. I can watch a video to drive, but until I actually get behind that steering wheel, I'm on the same thing for riding a bike. So that was one of the things that I feel like I've had to work with personally, because I too have little ones. And, my third grader, she does very well virtually. She was able to show me some things after, day one. But then my sixth grader, there are a few more challenges that we have to deal with there. So, but, getting those devices and making sure that they know how to navigate them, do they even have Wi-Fi? Like we gave devices to a lot of children, but then we didn't have Wi-Fi when a parent comes in and says, okay, so do you have a hotspot? And it's like, let us get back to you. But the district has been very, very helpful in trying to, and the community at large has been helpful in helping us to get those resources so that, our families can get what they need. And I know it's not 100%, but we are a whole lot better than we were when we left school in March. So I can tell you that. Yeah.
I know Mark Dean wanted to ask also, parent, you know, Gaylen, Miss Ferguson, you know, what, you know, as a parent, and I know you've been conversing with other parents also, you know, what have you heard? You know, what are you going through personally?
Well, personally, I'm one of those that I'm able to work at home, but I have a second grader and a toddler. So yes, some of us can work at home, but we're working. We have jobs that we have to do. And then we're also helping with the projects and the assignments. We're, you know, the baby, William is in second grade, so he's okay with the device. They're used to using certain programs in school, but navigating through the classes it's challenging. We all know. And that is probably the biggest thing right now, is getting on the platform, navigating through the classes. Where am I supposed to be? What time? There's assignments that are due. They really don't have a lot of time to get the assignments done. So we stayed up on Friday night and did all of his assignments that were given out for, you know, for the first 2 weeks of school, just so we could get it done, get caught up, and let's get ready for the next week, you know. But that is what the parents are really talking about, is navigating the system, getting the assignments done, and that's it. Really, the devices, having scanners and printers and copiers and knowing how to attach things. A lot of people, you know, it's technical.
Right.
That is, you know, yeah, Cobb County has been very good with sending out the resources, but you have to read it and you've got to try to do it. And then if it doesn't work, you're like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
it's, but yeah.
It can be challenging.
Very
so
challenging.
I know, Miss Davis, you know, I have heard some horror stories. And, you know, I can say a day in the life of Miss Davis as a school counselor, you know, I have heard that, you know, some parents have reached out to counselors very irate, to the point of, you know, filing complaints. I mean, are you getting this also? You laugh.
Well, it has been challenging. I think one of the biggest things that, you know, at least my team tries to let parents know is that we're not in the classes. If you don't have a child in Cobb County right now, you really have no idea what the CTLS portal even looks like. And fortunately, I do have a child in it, so I know I can help them navigate. For our counselors who don't have children, it's like, but then they think the counselor is supposed to know everything. And then like, but have you reached out to the teacher? And it's like, no, I didn't even think about the teacher. I'm like, well, that's whose class you're in. And so, you know, with students not being able to see all of their classes on the CTLS platform, especially if they get a class change or a teacher change or something, you know, that can, I mean, we've had kids who've gone a couple of days without even being able to see their classes. And I'm not doing like, but did you email the teacher and say, hey, can I get this? Oh yeah, so now they started sending me my assignments, and then they record the lesson. So even though I'm not physically there, you know, I'm not in the class, they're still able to navigate the classes. So, but yeah, so these first couple of weeks have been really difficult. And then with the platform being up and down, you know, you may start off the day great, and then by the time middle school starts, bam, or you may not even start the day off right. And then it's so, and a lot of that comes to the school counselors. They think that we can fix it. And, you know, I have a tech background, but it has nothing to do with the CTLS portal. So,
right,
you know,
right.
We just smile and keep going and just try to encourage them. Because for me, the last thing we want is for our students to be stressed. And I even put this on my Facebook page, the very first day of school. We could not get into CTLS. But the Sunday before, I had gone in and saw all the assignments that my baby needed to do. So what did we do while we couldn't get into CTLS? I went and found videos on YouTube that covered the concepts that she needed. She had no idea that I was about to have a nervous breakdown, freak out, because as a parent, I'm like, you know, this is our very first day of third grade. Honey, it's going to be a great day. And so that's what I did as a parent, because that was important for me. So I don't want kids, I don't want the students to stress about those things they can't control. What can you do to ensure that you have a good day? So that's where I try to tell parents, just calm down. I promise you, It's not going to be the end of the world. But, you know, I'm sure it's difficult when you got your child over here and you're like, well, they need to get in this class.
Or if you got more than one child,
right.
you know,
It's even worse.
I know, yeah.
Yeah, and speaking to that, Ms. Davis, in reference to, like you said, dealing with the technicalities of it, a lot of the issue, and I'm speaking from a personal standpoint, I have a kindergartner right now, and just actually being able to log in, and from a virtual standpoint, you know, with school, you got regular class, it's very interactive, especially with kindergarten, you know, the lessons are very interactive, but you know, him having to sit there and stay still and say, hey, just stay still and listen, wait your turn, and all these things, you know, but in reference to that, Davis, as far as with the technicalities, that's what you've been really dealing with thus far to this point.
Yes, definitely. And again, even though I'm a high school counselor, having a third grader in the house has really opened my eyes to, you know, this whole virtual platform. And so the second day of school, I'm listening. What is she doing? She's and I'm like, you know what? Calm down, woman, calm down. She was engaged, but sitting in a chair for a lesson for 45 minutes is not something that a third, because usually she may be over here coloring with her, you know, her classmate, or they're having to, you know, manipulate some things, but sitting there and trying to stay completely engaged, it's ridiculous for me to think that my child can do that. So I'm like, okay, as long as she knows what's going on. And then when I come in on her little break, say, okay, we got a 5-minute break. So what did you do? I'm listening. I'm ear hustling anyway. And so I can tell that she's engaged, but that sitting still, no. And it's different in a classroom, because again, you have other people to engage with. When it's just you sitting there, it can be crazy. So parents, I had to do it myself. I thought I was going to mutate one day. And I was like, this is day 2. This is day 2. You there too, Miss Ferguson?
Yeah. Well, you know, as a counselor, like I said, you know, you are certified. You know, you've gone to school. You know, you've trained to know how to deal with this. You know, what are some of the mechanisms? What are some of the, you know, maybe official things that parents, right, that parents can explore to really just to wrap their heads around this, you know, because basically, you know, we're in isolation. I want to talk to you and, you know, Ms. Ferguson also just about the isolation, because that's basically what it seems like we're in isolation. You know, what are the professional like mechanisms that you could give, you know, to even me or even other parents who are just, you know, watching this?
And I'll tell you, one of the great things that some of our school counselors worked on over the summer and even back in the spring, we have this calming room. It's on the Cobb County School District.
Hold on, what you say? What you say? A common room? Hold on.
Yes, calming room. And there are several different. I mean, you might have music or art. There's so many different things that you can use to engage your child. I think that you know, are related to anxiety. I mean, everything is there, and it's so much. And so usually when people see an abundance of things, what's the first thing that happens? Anxiety. Oh God, it's too much. I can't get through. No. Calm down, calming room, and pick something. Let me look over these things. And I always tell parents, you look over and kind of work through it yourself before you give it to your child to do. You know, see, does this work for, and the beauty of this stuff, it isn't just for children, because we school counselors tap into it, you know, on a daily basis.
Right.
It's for anyone, but the resources are already there. Go there and you can find a resource, like I said, if it's anxiety, if it's stress, if, you know, it's, what can I do to get them to sit down? You know, it may be an idea of coming up with a fidget tool or something, you know, likes, you know, soft things, and, you know, keep him from tapping. Well, did you think about giving him maybe a, you know, soft little ball to, you know, to play with or something, or maybe soft, you know, eraser, just whatever you can do to get that baby to like calm down. And that whole isolation, when it's PE time or recess, guess what we do? I get up from this seat and we go outside. We've got to get outside and get moving, because we both have been sitting for a while. So, you know, I won't give you specific, or I can't necessarily give you specific things, but I can give you that calming room. And I can bet you in every aspect of your child's life, and probably even yours, you will be able to find something that'll help you get through. And it doesn't even have anything to do with school. Like I said, you know, this afternoon, you just, I just want to just meditate a little bit.
Right.
The website, there are things already there for you. So it's the Cobb County School District. If you go to the Cobb County School District and search for school counseling, or you probably can even just search for calming room, because I have it bookmarked, so I don't have to do that. You know, I'm telling you, it is a life changer for families. Again, like I said, you think about the child, but when the parent benefits from it more than the child,
right.
Yeah. So definitely,
almost it's like a WUUUUSAAHHH calming.
Yeah, and we had no clue about it. Like, this is absolutely amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Only here on Studiosetstage. You know, Miss Ferguson, you know, when you hear a certified counselor, you know, talk about the calming room, what does it sound like to you? Like, what's your
thank you. I'm so glad she's on here. I'm so excited. I just don't even want to talk. I want to listen to everything she has to say. Seriously. I'm
looking for it right now.
Googling.
She was bookmarking right then, right?
Yeah, I am.
Bookmarking. I'm telling you.
In this space that we're going through right now, that is what I just feel so bad for all the parents that's, you know, maybe not fortunate to work from home and they have grandparents or aunts or older sister. I just said, Lord, I hope that the children are not feeling this tension and stress. I hope that they are still happy and just being babies, just being kids, and let us adults handle all this technical stuff in the background. But you know, there are plenty of households where that's probably not happening.
I want to ask you, Miss Ferguson, like, you know, with your child, like, when the whole pandemic hit and, you know, this whole isolation, digitally learning, you know, what did they say to you that was like really shocking to you? Like, what, like, was there a moment where it was like, what are we doing?
You know, they were great. I mean, you know, the schools, the teachers, everyone was so fantastic.
But your kids, but what were your children saying?
They didn't say anything to us, but they were fantastic with assuring the little babies that everything's okay.
Yeah.
But no, we didn't really get much, you know, student support or parent support at that time. They didn't.
My son, let me tell you, my son literally said, and this, Miss Davis, you probably can relate to this. My son literally, he's a kindergartner. He said, you know, I want to go to school. He honestly and seriously was like, I want to go to school. You know, it was like, it broke my heart, Miss Davis. I know that you have heard this from parents. You know, what do you tell, you know, your child? Like, what do you know, how can, I mean, aside from saying, the coronavirus, when a pandemic, you know, how do you get through to a child? You know, I know you do this every single day.
Yes. And so, you know, and back when we were out in the spring and I was on with my boy who was in 5th grade at the time. And the teacher asked the question, so what do you all miss most? However she phrased the question.
Right.
And one little boy said, I just want to be at school with my friends. And he broke down and started crying. I had to get up and walk out of the room because it was just hearing that innocence in his voice. And, you know, because school is everything, especially for a child who's, you know, an only child anyway, you know, those are their friends. So, you know, one of the things that we were able to do was like exchange information. You know, mine don't have cell phone, because when the little boy said, what's your cell number? He said, no, I don't have a cell phone. He said, you ain't got a cell phone. I was like, not until he can pay the bill, you know, kind of thing.
Right.
You know, getting his phone number so that they could communicate with each other. You know, and again, for me, it all goes back to the parent. Children feed off of the adults. So if I, as a parent, am acting all, oh my God, and I'm all stressed out and stuff, that's what our children see. And I'll even jump back to Friday night when I got the information about Chadwick Boseman.
Yeah.
My have no idea that Black Panther is no longer with us in that form, because
Yes.
I haven't come to a grip myself with how I'm even dealing with that. I mean, I'm dealing with it. And
Yes.
so, I got to get me together before I can even talk to my children about it. And so sometimes, because the kids are always on the internet and they see everything on social media, but they're in 3rd and 5th grade, they shouldn't even be on social media, but that's a whole nother story.
Right. That's a whole nother story,
right. That's a whole other something in and of itself.
Exactly.
So I was like, so my children have no idea that he doesn't, he's no longer with us.
Ours either. No.
Yeah. So, but being the parent and making sure that you're okay, so I was able to go back and talk to the class and say, guys, it's going to be okay. Just understand safety. When we talk about, we took them not being in school to just thinking about when you're sick.
Yeah.
And when you get sick and you can't go to school, you really, really want to be at school with your friends, but you can't be because you're sick. And then when you come back and one of them is gone because they're sick, but one day when everybody is well, we're all going to be able to get back together and you're going to be able to come back friends. And so that kind of helped for that moment, but then we've done birthday party drive-bys and stuff. And a lot of times they just want to see somebody and not like on the camera. If I saw you in Walmart, say, oh my God, that kind of thing. And we kept it moving, but just being able to see their friends and talk to them and know that they're okay. Because deep down, I know when the children heard sickness and coronavirus, it could have been really scary for a lot of children. Yes. And so, but to see their friends and know that, oh, you're okay. Yeah, I'm fine. We just can't come to school and play with each other right now, but I'm okay. So that's very important. Just try to keep the children calm and you figure out what will make you feel better. You don't have to have a PhD to be able to say, okay, my baby is in crisis right now. What can I do so that he or she doesn't suffer? So if that means take their whole little old minds off of it and y'all talk about it, like, let's go get some ice cream. Let's do this. Let's do that. So the babies need that. They have no business stressing right now.
Well, let me, my co-host Marq, Dean and I, we were, off air talking about, we are hearing so many different things. We get emails because we know we have a wide circle of friends. And it has even, let's go from the standpoint of your colleagues, fellow school counselors and psychologists. I have heard of 1 or 2 incidences where certain counselors have said, this is too much for me. And they have chosen to sit out this year or to leave their school. And I was floored when I heard that actually happening. And I just wanted you to speak to that. This is not affecting, the parents, the kids, but also the experts. You're an expert in this field.
Mm-hmm. When I got into school counseling, or when I got into education, period, this is my 19th year.
Wow.
I wanted to work with children. And never in 18 and a half years, which would have been this past spring, did I think that I was going to be doing school counseling virtually. I was going to be having Teams meeting with students. For me, it's an enemy by any means necessary type thing. It's not ideal, but I know that children depend on me. They are the reason I exist. So I'm going to push through. But there are those people who have to have, I came into school counseling or to education to teach children, to have kids pulling on my legs and giving me hugs, and they need that. And I get it 1,000%. My son is one who, put me in a corner with my computer and let me work. I don't need to talk to people. And then me, I'm like, oh no, I need people. I got to have people.
I'm that person too, right?
Right. And it's very difficult. I mean, so not only are children and parents suffering, educators are suffering too, because this isn't ideal. And just so as we think about even going back to a face-to-face, people are having to make, really hard decisions about, can they go back face-to-face, and maybe having, an older parent in their home or a child, or even maybe even themselves, what am I going to do when we go back, full time? I don't know. I'm just.
So you have had these conversations with fellow colleagues and
absolutely.
Counselors.
Absolutely. Lots of crying, and just, just do the best you can with what you have. And, try to save your crying for when you're not in a class with students, because again, if you're going to be there with them, give them 1,000% of what you have, because you don't want them to think that something is wrong. Again, we're human too, but if we are there to provide for the children and make sure that they are going to be on a great path, and to help them not even think about this pandemic, we got to, you know, pull up our bootstraps and, you know, okay, I got 50 minutes to get through this, and then I'm going to wail, and I'm like, I can't do this, I can't do this. But, you know, again, it's different, but that's not me. You know, like I said, I'm a people person.
You're not trying to quit. You're not trying to quit right now. Okay.
No, man, not unless we win that Mega Million. I keep saying that, but other than that, I'm in it to win. I'm gonna be here. So.
Mark Dean, I know we were talking about, you know, some parents who have not had favorable, you know, experiences, and Ms. Ferguson, I know you've seen that too, have not had favorable interactions with the counselors or the psychologists. You know, do you care to share, Ms. Ferguson, any of your grievances?
You know, I cannot think of a specific issue with a parent. I'm trying to think of my own, nothing really that complex. Again, it's just the technical stuff.
Gotcha.
I was talking to my mom yesterday, and she mentioned that there were kids out in the parking lots of restaurants on their devices to use the Wi-Fi from the restaurant. Now that we talked about amongst ourselves. And so
do you hear that, Ms. Davis?
This was happening, and you know, people not having internet, they may not have been aware of the resources available, but who knows, it happened so quickly, they may not have had the time to get everything in place. But the children that stay at extended stays in hotels and things like that, or whatever the case may be, they're in parking lots on cell phones trying to maneuver. Oh, it's sad. So I heard that Cobb County, I don't know the details about this, but I heard that Cobb County, they were taking their school buses that were equipped with Wi-Fi and parking them in specific locations, and it gave me goosebumps.
Ms. Davis,
it gave me goosebumps. That's what they were doing.
Yes, and I've definitely heard those stories about, you know, children being in parking lots, and, you know, a lot of questions have been asked. Well, the school is Wi-Fi. Why can't, you know, children come onto the school property? Like, they said don't, and that's all I have to say about it. But you know, being able to, you know, to go to a restaurant and sit in that parking lot is unfortunate. But I'm glad that at least is an option for families to do. The whole bus thing, Marietta City, I know, did it, you know, when we were out in the spring. And so that was something that Cobb was working up to, you know, putting that Wi-Fi bus in a neighborhood, you know, where a lot, you know, the bandwidth goes, I guess it goes far enough to a lot of families can have access to it. You don't even have to leave your home, or if you chose to leave your home. But
how do you address a child who has to go out as a counselor? Like, how do you address a child that they have to go to the parking lot of a restaurant, like Miss Davis? Like, how do you?
So my first, in a couple of ways. One, I say I applaud a family or student who, again, by any means necessary, I need to get this education, and I'm gonna get it. You know, I need this. And if I have to go and drive up to McDonald's or the Starbucks parking lot and get it, then okay, but I'm not gonna miss school, because I understand how important school is. Because it's just as easy to say we don't have Wi-Fi and be done with it, and you got laptops and phones sitting in your house and be done with it. It's just as easy to do that as it is to go right down the street to, you know, the McDonald's parking lot. Nobody's gonna come out there and put you out of the parking lot. At least I don't suppose they will. But you know, it's unfortunate that, you know, families are having to do that, because if I don't have a car and McDonald's is a mile away, guess what? And it's raining, we're probably not walking up there to McDonald's.
Right.
So for me, communication is so important. You must communicate with your teachers. If you're having some technological, you can't get on the computer, but you know, you can text them, because a lot of our teachers use what they call Remind, and teachers can get the text right then, and teachers can text them back. Just at least one, teachers want to know first that their children or that their students are okay. When I don't hear from you at all, I worry. Believe it or not, you know, people say, oh Lord, you be glad that such and such is not at school. Okay, well, I ain't saying I'm glad that he's not at school, but as long as I know he's okay, I know he's coming back, you know. So now it's like you don't know if children are okay or not, you know. So just maintaining, you know, between the student and the parent, maintaining great communication with your teachers is so important. And then again, you just never know what someone might be able to do for you if they don't even know that there is an issue.
Right.
You know?
Wow.
Right.
Wow.
I know we say this all the time. You know, we talk about this all the time on the show. A closed mouth
Never
can't
fail.
get fed.
Yep.
And
I was
you
told
have
that,
to, right.
I was told that my very first year as a school teacher when I was teaching in Knoxville County Schools in Macon, Mississippi by my first principal, Mrs. Jenkins. And, you know, she asked me to do something for her and I said, oh, I don't have, you know, that resource. And 2 days later, she said, send me 3 boys, big boys. I'm like, okay. And sent, and all this stuff she brought to that she had bought for me. And so but it was something she needed me to do and I got it done. And she said, don't you ever tell somebody what you don't have. You know, you tell them, if you say you don't have it, to say, how can I get it? You know, can you help me? She said, ask for it. She said, I could have said no, but you didn't even ask me and I did something for you. So I've lived by it. I'm telling you, 19 years in, if it's something that Miss Davis wants, I'm going to ask for it. I'm going to knock on wood. I've gotten everything I've ever asked for.
So, well, if you are just joining us, guys, this is Studiosetstage. I'm Cynthia Mallard.
I'm Marq Dean.
And we are in the middle, just having a conversation about parents educating kids, parents dealing with coping with educating their kids in this pandemic. We have school counselor Myesha Davis, and we have parent Gaylen Ferguson, just kind of having just a wonderful conversation. We have learned so much today. I know, Ms. Davis, you know, you as a school counselor, your day, you know, your door is open, your ear is open is what it sounds like, right?
Absolutely. Yes,
you know, going forward, because like I said, we don't know how long we will be in isolation. It seems like there's reports of resurgence, then you hear reports it's going down, you know, we're going back and forth a lot. You know, just to leave parents with something that's comforting, that will help them, you know, until we are back, you know, face to face. Give us something that you definitely want parents to understand and know, and fellow colleagues, everyone to know.
The Rome wasn't built in a day.
Uh-oh.
And, you know, we're not gonna, it's okay to not know right now. It's okay to feel overwhelmed. It's okay to be full of anxiety. It's okay to be stressed, to be scared, because we all are stressed, scared, and full of anxiety. But again, it's just as you go through it and just think about your student, well, our students, your children, you know, what kind of message do you want them to have about this experience? Again, if they know that you're stressed and that let's just throw the computer out the computer away, mama, you know, because I'm going to need that computer. So I think, you know, as parents, if we can just try to dial it down and just know one day these babies going to be back in front of their teachers, and to know that the teachers miss the children. You know, I heard somebody say, oh, y'all glad that the kids aren't here anyway. I was like, who said that? Honey, I would give my right leg to be at Hillgrove with our 2,400 students, so I can mess with my football players and, you know, mess with my girls and just, you know, I desired that. I got into education for that reason. Absolutely. And so one of the things I wanted to throw this in here too, as I'm thinking, you know, I talked earlier about the calming room and all. For those who don't know, if you have a student in the Cobb County School District, you know, through the resources that we use, we have a coalition list of thousands of providers within Metro Atlanta, where if you have a child who's dealing with anxiety or stress and, you know, ADHD, and you don't have a therapist, or, you know, I think something is wrong, I need him or her to see someone, any student in the Cobb County School District can see a therapist for free. They can get a free one-time assessment, and you just talk to your school counselor, and she will give you several referrals until you can find someone that might work for you. But yeah, when you meet with the therapist, you say, hey, or call and make an appointment. You know, my student is a student within Cobb County School District. I'd like to receive a free assessment. You know, she's really dealing with a lot of anxiety, and, you know, I just want to, you know, see what's going on. And then so you can receive that, and then they can walk you through, you know, after their assessment, you know, what are some options for you. So that's one of the things I think that a lot of our parents don't know and don't use. You know, they try to go through their doctors and stuff, like, well, hey, you can get one time free, you know, free, as opposed to not needing your copay and all, because again, who knows who has insurance and stuff today. So at least if I can at least find out if there is something, then I can be on a track of trying to find some funds to take care of whatever it is. So there are resources. Please use your school counselors and social workers, you know, to help you. You know, don't just go to them when there's a problem. Go to them when there isn't a problem. Like, hey, I just was wondering, you know, is there anything great going on, you know, that my child might be able to be involved in? Because just like a teacher or an administrator, you don't want to just talk to parents when it's bad. Talk to them when it's good too. It's all about building those relationships. And when you can build a relationship with families and that community is so much stronger. I mean, people will do anything for you that you ask. I mean,
Ms. Davis, where can we reach you? Obviously, you're at Hillgrove High School, right?
I'm at Hillgrove High School.
How can we reach you?
So
on social, it can be social, yeah.
Oh, well, I don't play with social a whole lot with folks, but Hillgrove School Counselors has an Instagram. We have a Twitter. I mean, and in my email, I can easily, you know, send some resources through email. So my email is myesha.davis@cobbk12.org. So it's myesha.davis@cobbk12.org. And so any resources that I can share with you, I'm definitely all about doing that, because again, my goal is just to make sure not only that my students and, you know, y'all's babies are okay, but the parents, if the parents aren't right, anything for the babies. So.
Very good. And Ms. Ferguson, you know, anything that you would like to just impart, you know, to parents such as yourself, you know, dealing with this, you know, primarily.
I absolutely love the information from Ms. Davis. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I have all my notes written down, and I'm going to share this to all my circle of parents. But I think that is the key, is to stay engaged and informed with the counselors and the schools and the teachers. Just have our own little support group.
Is that what you're going to be doing?
I am going to be doing that. I kind of, you know how you're not really sure how the parents and your teacher, the parents in your class, your students' class, you don't really know how, because we're virtual, we can't see them, we didn't do a meet and greet. So I kind of sent out an email to everyone like the first week, just asking if anyone was having issues, and a couple of people replied, because I just kind of wanted to know what everyone else was saying. So, but it would be nice if they would open it up and maybe send us out the contact list of the parents, because you know how some people are. They don't want you to start contacting them and asking for help. But that is what I'm going to do. Stay connected and kind of build that little circle of, you know, 10 or 15 parents that we can exchange information. I like that. I'll definitely be on the Cobb County Calming Room as well.
Yes, share. They put a lot of work into on that page for it not to be used. So, and not just Cobb County, anybody in the world who can access it, you know.
So Mark-Dean, we learned a lot, didn't we?
Yes, we did. Yes, we did. We learned, what I bring from this is, going back, communication is key. A closed mouth doesn't get fed, and you know, there are resources out there. So information is power, and during this time of uncertainty, like you say, one thing that's certain is uncertainty, but you have to stay aware, be aware, and use the information to and pass it on. Like Gaylen, you said, you know, you taking this information, and that's the purpose of this, is to give access to the information, so you can use it to make the best out of a situation, you know, where you might think, oh, there's no hope, or we're in dire straits. No, there's always, you know, there's always, once you get the information, you can always better the circumstance.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Well, guys, like I said, you only heard it here at Studiosetstage. What a wonderful, wonderful show. I just want to thank you guests so much. Of course, Studiosetstage, you can catch us on all platforms, Facebook, Instagram, everywhere, wherever you get your podcasts, right, Mark-Dean?
Yes, and you can listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, radio.com, and Google Podcasts. So please tune in. And definitely, we love the feedback. You could have been anywhere in the world, but we're so glad that you're here with us.
That's right. Come back. every single week. What's your name?
My name is Marq.
And I'm Cynthia Mallard. This has been Studiosetstage. Catch you next week.